All right, Algebra 1. So if you've found yourself here, it is because you are looking for an explanation on all of the problems from the homework or some of the problems from the homework or a specific problem from the homework. So you can fast forward this video, you can make it faster, like speed up the pace of it, whatever you need to do to help you understand the answers to the homework and prepare for your test next class. So in this first problem, I'm going to solve for W. There's multiple ways to solve for W, but what I really like to do, so you can draw a line down your equal sign, and I really like to move my variable from the right side to the left side. Every time you want to do that, you want to do opposite operations. So I need to get rid of the 12W on this side. I need to make it to 0. So 12W minus 12W equals 0, so that goes away and I'm left with 14. And then on this side, I'm left with negative 4W minus 18. W is still not by itself, so I'm going to add 18 to both sides. Here I get 32. And then divide both sides by negative 4. So you get W equals negative 8. And you could check that by subbing that back into the original. I'm going to skip that for time, but you can always check to see if your answer is correct. So now I'm going to go on to number 2, where I'm going to distribute to get rid of my parentheses. 1/2 times 8 is 4, but there's an x there, so this becomes 4x. 1/2 times 6 is 3. So plus 3 equals 4x plus 9. You might be able to notice the answer from here, but if you can't, I'm going to then subtract 4x from both sides. Again, multiple ways to do one problem, but in my opinion, this is the easiest and most efficient way. So 4x minus 4x goes to 0, leaving me with just 9 on that side. 4x minus 4x here also goes to 0, leaving me with just 3. 3 does not equal 9, so this is no solution. No value of x will make these equal, so no solution there. Moving on to problem 4, again, I don't want my parentheses, so I'm going to distribute. That gives me 8 minus 16y equals 8y plus 36. I'm then going to move my y's to one side, so I'm going to subtract 8y from both sides, leaving me with 8 minus, I believe, 24, negative 20, or so 8 minus 24y, I think. Let me just check. Yep, minus 24y equals 36. Then minus 8 from each side. This becomes 28. Divide both sides by negative 24. You get y equals 28 over negative 24. I like fraction form, but I like simplified fraction form. If you're unfamiliar or don't feel like you're confident in simplifying fractions, the Desmos calculator helps you. So 28 divided by negative 24, it's going to give you a decimal at first, but then you'll see this box over box button. So if you click that, it gives you a simplified version of the fraction. So it's actually negative 7 over 6. And so let's move on to number 4. Number 4 is actually different from the rest of the problems. The reason number 4 is different is because it has a denominator. I want to get rid of that denominator. Denominator is division, opposite of division, multiplication. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 6 to cancel out that denominator, leaving me with 2h minus 6, which was my numerator, and then whatever 8 times 6 is, 48. And now I want to get the h by itself. The first step in doing that is going to move the 6 to both sides, leaving me with 2h equals 54. And then I can divide by 2. H is 27. Last but not least in this solving skills is to solve this last one for x. So I'm going to distribute, leaving me with 3x plus 24 plus 5x equals, and I can distribute on this side as well. So this is going to be 24 plus 8x. I will then combine my like terms on one side of the equal sign. So this becomes 8x plus 24 equals 24 plus 8x. You might be able to recognize the answer at this point. If you can't, that's okay. I'm then going to subtract 8x from each side, leaving me with 24 equals 24. Whenever I have the same thing on both sides of my equal sign, that tells me that I have infinite solutions. X can be absolutely anything, and these two sides will always, always, always be equal. So that's solving equations, some multi-step equations. The next topic that you can see on your test is applications of linear equations. So this word problem talks about friends ordering Domino's. They give you the formula here. They say friends can calculate the total cost by using the equation C equals 1099 plus 0.99 times x minus 1. And they also tell you that C is the total cost of the pizza and x is the number of toppings. So that's going to be helpful to me to know what those variables represent. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to read the first problem. So it says, what is the total cost? Okay, so I don't know what C is because that's total cost of the pizza if the friends get 3 toppings. I know that x represents number of toppings, so here x is going to be equal to 3. And I'm going to use my equation here, so I'm going to sub that in to my given formula. And then I'm going to simplify using PEMDAS. So I'm going to simplify my parentheses first. Then PEMDAS tells me to do exponents, but I don't have any, so then I'm going to do multiplication. .99 times 2, 99 cents, times 2, 198. And then add as my last step, $12.97. So if they get 3 toppings, it's going to cost $12.97. The next question here says how many toppings? So that means I'm going to be looking for x. I don't know what x is. And did the friends get on the pizza? If the total cost was $14.95, so C must be $14.95 since C represents the total cost. I'm going to, again, use the equation I'm given. It's there for you. Let it benefit you. So I'm going to copy down my equation. C equals 1099 plus 0.99 x minus 1. But I know C is going to be $14.95, so I'm going to sub that in. There's a couple ways to solve this. So I could distribute. So I'll show you a couple of ways you can do this. First option here to get rid of my parentheses would be to distribute. So I'm going to have 14.95 equals 1099 plus 0.99x minus 0.99. So that's what happens when I distribute that. And then I can combine like terms. 1099 minus 0.99 is 10. I can then subtract 10 from both sides to get 495 equals 0.99x. Divide both sides by 0.99. And let's see what that gets us. So 4.95 divided by 0.99 is 5. So they got 5 toppings on the pizza. The other way we could do this is I can do a different step first. I'm pretty much going to have to distribute no matter what. But if I'm starting with this equation, I can actually subtract 10.99 first and then distribute after that. So it's really your choice how you want to go about this. I like to get rid of my parentheses first, but subtracting here is not wrong. Then you can distribute. Add 0.99 to both sides. And then you'll be at the same last step as we were prior. So either way you decide to do it, you get x equals 5. And either way is totally acceptable. So then it says in the given formula, what does 1099 represent? So it's asking what does this value here represent? That is the value of the pizza if you don't get any toppings, right? So the 99 and such is for toppings. So if you don't get any toppings, the pizza costs $10.99. All right, second word problem here. 2 car owners are in need of car repairs. Sandra will need to pay $4 per minute for labor. That's her pattern. And $10 to cover the cost. That's her 0th term. And then it says Aaron will need to pay $20 for parts. So that's his 0th term. And $2 per minute, which is his pattern. The question is asking how many minutes, so that's going to be the variable. And it wants to know when they're going to be the same amount. Same amount means equal. Right, so start off with our variable. We can say m equals number of minutes. And let's see, it says write an equation. So my equation, I know that they're going to be equal. I want Sandra's total cost, so here 4m plus 10 is going to equal to Aaron's 2m plus 20, or 20 plus 2m. Doesn't matter the order there. So then it says solve the equation I wrote in part B. So I'm going to copy and paste my equation. And I'm going to solve it. Oops. I want to make it a little smaller so I have more space here. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 2m from both sides of my equal sign, leaving me with 2m plus 10 equals 20. Subtract 10. 2m equals 10. Divide by 2. M equals 5. So 5 minutes, they'll be the same. Part D says whose repair will be cheaper short term. Short term refers to before they're the same. So pick any m value smaller than 5. I'm going to pick 1. So if we compare Sandra, she was 4 times 1 plus 10. It's going to be 4 plus 10. So Sandra is going to cost 14 if she only gets a repair for 1 minute. It's a really quick thing. And then Erin is going to get 2 times 1 plus 20. That's going to be 22. So Sandra's car is cheaper to fix short term. Long term is pretty much the opposite. Long term is going to be after they're the same, so bigger than 5 in this case. So I'm going to do the same process, but I'm going to choose m equals 6 this time. So Sandra, again, that's going to be 4 times 6 plus 10. That's 24 plus 10. That's $34 for 10 minutes. Erin is going to be 2 times 6 plus 20. That's 12 plus 20. His is only going to be $32 for 6 minutes. So Erin's car is cheaper long term. All right, moving on to inequalities. So we need to understand inequalities first before we can even solve them. So it says, is each number a solution to the inequality? So I'm going to just sub in the number. So if x equals 3, does it work? Sorry, -3. So that's -12 plus 3 less than or equal to -7. That is -9. So the answer here is yes, this is a solution because this is true. And then if we try +3, it's going to be 4 times 3 plus 3. That's 12 plus 3. 15 is not less than or equal to 7, so this is no, not a solution. Understanding inequalities in other ways means you need to be able to write a quick inequality statement. So if we say T is the temperature, and it says it's at least 75 degrees. At least, we should know at least means greater than or equal to. So temperature is greater than or equal to 75 degrees. I always go back to that amusement park example. If you're not sure about at least, ask yourself, you must be 48 inches to ride a roller coaster. Or you must be at least 48 inches to ride a roller coaster. Can you be equal to it? Yes. Can you be taller than it? Yes. Can you be smaller than it? No. So greater than or equal to. The bus can hold a maximum of 54 people. So we'll say people equals P. Maximum less than or equal to. So people have to be less than or equal to 54. Solving inequalities is pretty much the same as solving equations. I want to get the variable by itself. Instead of an equal sign, I have an inequality symbol, which just means I have lots and lots and lots of solutions, infinite actually. So here I get x is less than or equal to 3, so x can be any number smaller than 3 or equal to it. So I color in my circle because it's or equal to, and I draw my arrow to the left because left is numbers smaller than. In number 2, I'm going to add 2x to both sides here, giving me 5x minus 8 less than 22. I'm then going to add 8 to both sides, giving me 5x less than 30. Divide both sides by 5, x less than 6. So open circle this time because it's just less than, not equal to, and to the left because numbers to the left are less than. Problem 3. I'm going to distribute here. So 7x plus 6x minus 22 greater than or equal to 17. That's 13x minus 22 greater than or equal to 17. Add 22 to both sides. 13x greater than or equal to 39. Divide both sides by 13. You get 3. So I'm going to use a filled in circle because of the or equal to, and this time I'm going to go to the right because I want greater than. Last solving inequality, and then we're almost done here. So for number 4, I'm going to distribute. So that's negative 6x plus 66. Negative 6 times negative 11 is plus 66. Bring down everything else. Combine like terms, negative 6x, negative 4x gets me negative 10x. I'm going to subtract 66 from both sides. That's negative 10x less than negative 138. No, you're not doing it wrong. Divide by negative 10. The biggest thing about this one is I divided by a negative on both sides, so I needed to flip my inequality symbol, getting me 13.8. So open circle to the right because it's greater than, and it's 13.8. Right, so remember, divide by a negative, flip the inequality symbol. Last one is my word problem for inequalities. Don't forget, literal equations is also on the test. It just wasn't in this practice because you had just had homework on it. So your family wants to have some work done on your house. A carpenter charges a consult fee of $45, and so that's the 0th term because it doesn't change, and charges $90 for every hour, so that's our pattern. The carpenter tells your family that the work will cost a minimum of $1,125. So that is greater than or equal to 1,125. And we're trying to find the number of hours. That's the variable. So I'm going to say H equals number of hours. And I'm going to write my inequality statement, which is going to be 45 plus 90H has to be greater than or equal to 1125, because greater than or equal to is minimum. I'm going to copy and paste this because it wants me to solve. So subtract 45 from both sides. 90H greater than or equal to, subtract that out, 1125 minus 45, 1080, divide by 90, H is greater than or equal to 12. So it says write a sentence that explains your solution. So answer the question, what is the minimum number of hours the carpenter has to work? The carpenter has to work a minimum of 12 hours. Or you can say 12 hours or more. And since we're talking about time, I don't have to worry about anything fancy on my number line. Closed circle, arrow to the right. And that was all of the homework problems. So hopefully this cleared up any question you were looking for explanation for, or if you were just studying and getting some clarification on some of these skills. Hopefully this video did that for you. If you have any questions, feel free to email me.